And good morning, Heather. It is great to be back in the kitchen. I missed you so much last week. What are we cooking today? We're not doing our challenge, are we, Heather?
No,
but
we're not.
next week.
Next week.
Definitely. So what are we going to be cooking today?
Today we're making a salmon frittata, but we're going to use a lot of vegetables, and we're going to do a sweet potato base, and we've got our sweet peppers, we've got our onions, we've got our cheeses, and I'm so excited I was able to get some fresh coriander. Tomatoes, broccoli, courgettes.
Otherwise known as zucchini?
Zucchini, sorry, yes, zucchini, and of course our eggs. So first of all, our base, we're going to just chop up a few of the sweet potato as the base. I find it's really good to have a nice solid base on things like this. You can use a pastry and then that's more like a quiche, okay, or you don't have to as well, or you could use flour in your mix. I don't use flour because I don't find it's needed. But of course you can use that. Now, we're using tin salmon today, but if you can get hold of fresh salmon, that's even better still, because you can actually layer it beautifully in there, but we couldn't get it. So, okay, so what I've done is just quickly chop these up as normal. We've already done some. We're just going to layer the bottom with this and pop that in. If you don't like sweet potato or you haven't got sweet potato, you could use normal potato. If you're going to use normal potato, I would suggest that you slice them, lay them flat, and either quickly put them in hot water for a few minutes, okay, or lay them flat and pop them in your microwave for a few minutes, okay. They just take a little bit longer than your sweet potato to cook. You can also cook this in a pan on gas or your electric, but today we're going to put them in the oven, okay. So it'll just take a little bit longer, so we will stop once that's all done. Okay, so we've got our layer in there. Now the herbs we've got today are a beautiful Italian mix.
Lovely.
That we actually had out for people to get a few weeks ago when we did our Jamie special.
Yep.
So that's that, and that's a mixture of basil, oregano, parsley, red onion, bell peppers, black pepper, marjoram, tomato granules, and garlic.
Lovely.
Okay.
Now this beautiful mixed herb selection,
yes,
you can buy that locally, or
you can buy it in jars locally. I actually didn't buy that locally because we needed to buy it in bulk.
so you but Atherton, that's local.
Atherton's local. IGA in Atherton
Yep, lovely.
has the bulk packets if you want to buy it in bulk, or you buy it in jars. It's much cheaper to buy it in bulk. The same with all the herbs that we've bought along the way. We've bought them in bulk and then put them in our jars, and that's what I do at home. So keep your coffee jars. They're great, especially if anybody drinks Moccona. They're really good because they've got a really good seal on. They're great for storing all your herbs and spices in, and it's cheaper too. So the next thing we're going to do is we have our beautiful zucchinis here, which we bought. Everything else is local. So we're just going to tail those end off, and I'm going to just have to duck around the corner and get my grater because I went and washed it up before.
Okay, now look at this. Beautiful fresh food here.
Okay, that was into our beautiful cupboard there. Okay, so we're just going to, it's better if I find the zucchini if it's grated, because it's a different texture. So we're going to have a crunchy texture on the bottom, then we're going to have a softer texture with our zucchini. We're going to have a crunchy texture with red peppers to put through, and then of course our salmon and our herbs, and the last thing we're going to put on is our beautiful, beautiful broccoli, which is absolutely stunning this time of the year. So that's good. Just takes a little. Now with your salmon, what I did earlier was I took it in the kitchen and drained it, and then I've just turned it upside down and put it in the fridge. Now when you break up your salmon, sometimes there's little tiny bits of bone in there, but that bone is really good for you. It's got omega-3s and it's protein, and it's really good for your body. But if you don't like it, you can take it out. Like I said, you could use fresh salmon if you like, but that does come a tad more expensive. This dish here, there'd be quite a lot in this. We'll feed quite a few people once we bulk this up.
Yes.
Which is really good because everybody loves to eat here.
And it's a really good day for us today. We have our wonderful volunteer Christina back, so we'll be able to feed her today, and Jeanette's on as well. Yep. So hopefully this is keto.
Actually, it is keto friendly, but not the sweet potato.
Not the sweet potato, everything
But
but
that's
the sweet
okay,
potato.
because you can eat down to the sweet potato or take the sweet potato off. So that's fine. Put that over there. Okay. We'll just push that around.
Okay.
So the next layer we're going to put in, we're going to go and put our salmon in.
So this is actually a dish that you layer it all.
Yes, yeah.
Okay, that's nice and easy, isn't it?
I think it's really, really easy to do this. So we're just going to break our salmon up and put that through. And 1 tin is more than enough. If you don't want to, if you've got a smaller tin, you can use that as well. Just bulk it with more veggies. And ideally, when we talk about portion size, our meat should really only be the size of our hand. So if you look at this with what's actually in here, it would make up to a portion. There's a little tiny bone there. We'll take out a portion size when you have it. I'm just going to turn around and rinse my hands. Just like to have a bowl there. It makes life so much easier.
Wouldn't a sink be wonderful?
Oh, sink would be absolutely beautiful. We're sending out for that, aren't we?
We are indeed.
So if there's any plumbers out there that'd like to come and give us a quote for a sink, would be great. We're now putting our onions in. We might as well give it a bit of a plug. So just cut your onions up. They don't have to be too fine unless you prefer them really fine. Spring onions are really lovely in this as well.
So you've chosen the red onions today. I noticed that you do actually have a preference for the red onions, Heather. They seem to be your favourite.
They do. They cook down better, and they don't like. I'm not crying, and I didn't cry when I did them. They're a sweeter onion. Where your white onions are really good for barbecues and things like that, I find your red onions are good for salads and this type of dish. Okay?
So nicer with perhaps with a fish.
Yes, I think
Yes,
much nicer with a fish.
Okay, so here we go. Now
We're
we're
going to pop our peppers in, which we pre-cut, because nobody needs to see me chopping. They want to see what it looks like.
and they're stunning.
Aren't they stunning?
I did actually
Absolutely
notice some
stunning.
beautiful peppers at and I grabbed myself one at the supermarket this week. So, and this is locally bought as well.
Yes, locally bought as well.
Beautiful.
We're just going to, we're going to break these up into little. And like I said last week, we can use all of this. This is actually, the ends like this is really, really good in soups because it bulks the soup out, it gives you good flavour. And also, if you've got young people and they don't like veggies, you can hide it. They don't have to see that it's a great big piece of broccoli or cauliflower or something like that. You can actually hide it. Now, you can put any vegetable you like in this one. Just whatever you've got. If you've got sweet corn, some people like sweet corn in this because it gives it a nice sweet flavour. Yeah, peas or beans from your garden, anything you've got, okay? We're also going to put some tomatoes in as well. So we're just going to pop that to one side.
So I did notice that our snow peas are starting to come up in the
They
community
are.
gardens. So that's hopefully we'll be doing some recipes soon with some snow peas.
I actually had a couple the other day. They were absolutely beautiful. They were only tiny and just munched them. They were beautiful. Okay, so we have our spinach here. So we're just going to pop that through. Oh, look, there's a stray bit of another salad, but that's okay. So you know, everybody knows that their spinach wilts down really, really well. So whatever you put in there, you only end up getting half, basically. So we tend to put a reasonable amount on there and pop it down. I love spinach. Spinach is beautiful. Jo, do you like spinach?
Baby spinach is actually my favourite.
Yeah.
I've always been a big spinach lover.
I have too.
But this is fantastic because it's great in a salad.
Oh.
And it's great with your bacon and eggs or
It's
you know
very
eggs on
diverse,
toast.
isn't it?
Yep.
Yes. So now.
And
what
it's
we're
not
doing-
quite as spinachy either, is it? It isn't quite as strong. It's a bit.
not strong.
Yeah.
No, this is more the English spinach, I think, compared to the other one. Now we're just going to poke these in. Oh. So it's exciting when we find them.
So how long are we actually going to be sticking this in the oven for?
I think probably about half an hour, the size of the dish, and we're cooking with electric here. If you've got a gas oven, it's a little bit quicker, but really it just depends on your oven. So we just have to wait and see You know, just keep on checking it.
Wait,
And
what temperature are we looking at?
I reckon about 260. Yeah.
Really? Okay.
But it depends on your oven. I usually put this on about 260
Okay.
and see, because this is fan forced here. Some people have fan forced, some have gas. So you've got it, you know your own oven. So that's what I'll put it on here. Okay. We're going to put a little tomato through here too, just to make it look prettier.
Lovely.
Now you notice I haven't put the herbs and spices in, because what we're going to do with them is we have our eggs to put through. Now everybody knows how about testing eggs, don't they, to make sure they're fresh. That if you put them in water and they go to the bottom, they're fine, which that is done. But if they pop up like this, then you know you can't use your eggs. These I only bought yesterday, so they are perfectly all right, and I have tested them before. So we're going to use about 8 eggs in this. Now you can use milk, cream in this if you wish. I don't tend to. I tend to use a little bit of water, because I think by the time we put our cheese on top, I just put a little bit of eggshell in there. So if you get eggshell in anything, you use your eggshell to get your eggshell out. Yeah, that was something I learned. I didn't know that. I was taught that a little while ago. Let that sit there a minute. We're just going to pop our cheese through. Now you can put your cheese through earlier if you wish. Depends on how much cheese you want.
Okay, so what sort of cheese is this one?
This is just a beautiful, beautiful Australian tasty cheese.
I did notice that you've got some feta there. Is that for some special...
We're just going to put a bit of feta through as well, but what I'm going to do afterwards when we're serving is use our coriander, a few tomatoes, and some of our spinach on the side, and just pop a little bit of feta on there as well. And this will melt all the way through. Okay. We will just pop a little bit on the top.
So this feta looks Danish. Is it Danish?
It is Danish feta. I find that's the best one for anything like this, because it melts but it stays in place. So you can just sort of pop these little globules in there, and they'll actually stay there. They don't run as much as the other cheese does. And it's just nice to have a different taste in there too. Because obviously your Danish feta and your fetas are a little bit more salty than anything else. No, so before we mix that, we're going to put our little bit of seasoning in. We put our pepper, salt. I'm actually going to put a little bit of extra garlic in too, because I like extra garlic, and most of the girls do as well. So, about a teaspoon of garlic in there. And then, this is about a dessert spoon of the mixed herbs, because if you did that all separately, you'd have quite a bit in there anyway. So we're going to pop that in there.
So this is a great way to distribute our herbs, isn't it?
Isn't it just? I just find it's easier to do it this way. I mean, you can do it on each layer if you want to, and that's perfectly right as well. It's just that, yeah, I just find it's easier to do this. What I do usually at home is I usually beat this egg up first and leave it to the side with the herbs in. Okay. Now I'm going to put just a fraction of water in this, because look at those beautiful eggs. Look at that. That is just amazing. Just a little bit of water. Okay, so if you pour through the middle, and then come around on the sides. If only you've got a level area, it should go right the way through anyway, but I still like to do it that way, because then you can really see that you have covered everything. And there we go.
There we
So
go.
we're going to pop that in the oven, and we will come back when it's cooked. Bye for
Excellent.
now.